Hey, Mikey here. I've caught up with reviewing the songs in the top 10, so every other week I'm going to do a video on the realities of songwriting. We songwriters better get our stuff out there before people start liking AI generated songs. If they start liking AI songs, we songwriters don't stand a chance. Personally, I don't see AI ever beating the great songs of the last century or before. But people's listening habits are changing and music is less and less important. So AI songs might start working for listeners one day. To keep this from happening, what do? Well, we write great songs, that's all. And what makes a great song? Well, that's what I want to talk about this week. Most of the time when I'm listening to unknown songwriters like myself, I can hear that they are writing a song for an audience of one, themselves. I think that's great, but if we songwriters want to expand beyond that, we have to realize that we need to write for others. I've listened to all sorts of lectures on songwriting, been to forums, been to meetings, gatherings. I've had many of my songs reviewed. Everything I can imagine I've done to figure all this out. What I think I've learned is it seems like great songwriting simply cannot be taught. Sure, the mechanics are great to learn about from song coaches, but that's about it. How-to books are good to read, but how-to books are similar to having song coaching. Few, if any, people can tell you if you have a great idea for a song if it's in its unfinished state. But only a correct audience can decide what a great song is when the best possible version of a great song is put in front of them. To put it another way, only when you put a great song in front of the correct audience will it be properly received. The best death metal song in the world is not going to go over well at a Christian revival. If you have a song idea, you've got to start with figuring out who the audience is and write to that audience. It's an inescapable truth that people only really like the songs that sound and speak within their comfort zone. The sound of a song has to match up with the lyrics, and the sound of the song has to have a familiarity. The lyrics have to speak to people and their lifestyles. So ask yourself some questions. If you find your audience and write for that audience, are you listening to the kind of music you are creating for them? Most songwriters I know want a big hit by a big artist, but then they talk about how bad they hate the new music in the top 40. You might as well forget writing a big hit unless you really like what's going on with the latest hits. Then ask yourself if you know and understand the life people in your audience is living. If the song doesn't hit home for someone, the song won't touch anything for anyone. Yes, there are popular songs that don't really mean anything to anyone, but that's confusing a popular artist with a popular song. When an artist gets popular, they can sing a poor song and still sell it. But what I'm talking about is songwriting here. A great song can be cut by an unknown and still be a hit. Then ask yourself, does the audience you're writing for actually buy music? Most listeners listen to new music for just a few years of their life. Then they listen to old music, if they listen to music at all. That's why you need to write songs for the age group that likes to listen to new music. Sure, I know there's music junkies like me who listen to new music, but we are few and far between, and most of the time we like to listen to music that sounds like the stuff we grew up with, even if it's recently recorded. Now you've got to think about whether an artist would want to perform your song in front of hundreds or thousands of people. Now that you've figured out the kind of person who would like your song, does the song speak generally to the type of person who would like a particular artist? People develop an expectation of an artist and have little patience for any song that doesn't fit that expectation. So don't worry about writing a bunch of songs. A lot of songwriters brag about having written hundreds of songs. Well, who cares? Focus on that one song that has that great idea. One song is all it takes to get your foot in the door of the industry. But it has to be a standout, and a big standout for a certain kind of person. I'd like to talk more about this, so please subscribe and come back. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks for listening.